Hello, it's John Heaton, and this evening I'm going to honour the memory of David Bowie by reviewing this album. And I was actually going to review it a couple of months ago, been meaning to do it, and because I picked up this album, Bowie at the Beeb, over Christmas in England, and this is a 2-disc set from 68 to 72, and particularly disc 2. It's got some superb live versions of the BBC, of a lot of the Hunky Dory and Ziggy Stardust album. So that kind of got me back into this period of Bowie's career. And so I'm going to, since the sad news of his death a week ago, a tremendous shock to all of us, I'm going to have a go recording this album. So the front cover there was taken on, I forget the name of the street, but it's near Regent Street in London, and the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. So supposedly some kind of concept album about this character Ziggy, although it's a pretty loose concept album, the back cover. And the first thing to say about this album is the band is tremendous. You got David Bowie on guitar, sax and vocals, Mick Ronson, superb lead guitarist, piano and vocals, Trevor Bolder on bass, and Mick Woodmansey on drums. And if you've seen some of the videos, like the Starman video on Top of the Pops, you'll see that band not only sounds great, but they look great, and they're certainly of their time, with their 70s hairstyle and Trevor Bolder's huge sideburns, and the drums, interestingly, at the front of the stage for that Top of the Pops clip, rather than at the back where the drummer normally sits. So that's a superb clip. In fact, Bowie's videos throughout his career have always been a highlight for me. Very innovative, I think, creative artist, visual artist, as well as musician. But I guess what I love most about this album is the quality of the songs, because without song quality nothing's going to endure. 44 years it's been since this album came out now, and I suspect that it's going to endure for a lot longer. It got to number 5 in the UK, and I looked it up, only number 75 in the US, and I'm not quite sure when Bowie broke the US chart-wise. He certainly did in the 80s with Let's Dance, which is not my favourite period of his. But the Ziggy Stardust explosion was more or less contained to England, initially anyway. So, start off with the songs. 5 Years, the first track, and there's a great video for this as well on the video collection, DVD video collection I have of his. Great, it's like he's painting the picture of the apocalypse. This song could be played as part of the soundtrack to The Walking Dead or something. It's pretty spooky, and the words, pushing through the market square, so many mothers sighing. News had just come over, we had 5 years left to cry in. News guy wept when he told us Earth was really dying. Cried so much his face was wet, and I knew he was not lying. Pretty scary words, and I don't know what words to use to describe it. He kind of has this alien persona, and the band as well, and the words that they sing, it's like nothing else on earth, literally. Very atmospheric songs, great drumming on this, great bass playing throughout from Trevor Bolder. The whole album, superb musicianship. And Soul Love is the next track, another beautiful tune. Again, not a single, 5 Years wasn't a single, but you got very strong melodies and good piano playing from David on 5 Years. Moon Age Daydream is a classic. I'm an alligator, I'm a mama papa coming for you, and the space invader, I'll be a rock and rollin' bitch for you. By the way, a lot has been written about the cultural influence of David Bowie, and I think that's true, and that's all well and good. But I'm mainly into him for his music, I have to say. Starman is the next track, and just a brilliant little verse. Great video, as I said earlier, and a very catchy tune, and a big hit in the UK, and a minor hit in the US, I think. Lady Stardust opened side 2 with nice piano from Bowie, and a gorgeous tune. Very strong melodies throughout a lot of these songs. Then the track Star is next, possibly the least remarkable on the album, but it fits in with the overall style and presentation. Hang On To Yourself, a fast rocker with superb guitar from Mick Ronson, who actually passed away many years ago, actually. Mick Ronson went on to play on the Rolling Thunder tour with Dylan in '76. But Hang On To Yourself, great groove that they get. Ziggy Stardust, the title track, love it. He obviously played this album live, and when he dressed up as Ziggy live, which when this album came out, he hadn't really defined what the image was going to be like, but by the time Aladdin Sane, the following album, came out, and the tour, he was painting his face and made a whole show of it. And then he retired Ziggy in '73, '74, and went on to many other personas later on in his career, such as his Young American Soul period, his Berlin trilogy, period of the late '70s, and then Scary Monsters in 1980, and then the disco, what I call the more commercial period of the '80s, which, as I said, not my favourite. Good pictures of the band here. I mean, they look like aliens, all 4 of them, don't they? So, where was I in the songs? Suffragette City, great rocker. I like the way on the back cover of this album it says, "To be played at maximum volume." Brings back memories of the Cold Turkey Lennon single, which also said "Play Loud" on it in capital letters. And then the album Suffragette City is brilliant. Again, play it loud, yeah. Rock and Roll Suicide closes the album in very moving style. Time takes a cigarette, puts it in your mouth. You pull on your finger, then another finger, then your cigarette. The wall-to-wall's calling, it lingers, then you forget you're a rock and roll suicide. I'm not sure if this was autobiographical or the character of Ziggy or whatever, but I don't think, to my knowledge, Bowie was never suicidal himself. Although he got up to a lot of things in the '70s, particularly with his use of pharmaceuticals, should we say. So, probably his most consistent album, along with Hunky Dory, those from the previous year, those 2 are probably his best 2 albums for me. Although I have personal favourites on the Low album and on Scary Monsters. But song for song, this one's a 10 out of 10. And I don't know if it got discovered later in the US and whether any of you guys in the US are familiar with it. But if you're not, then check it out, because I think you're going to enjoy it. And it's kind of, David Bowie has been part of the furniture, or part of our lives, really, even though he wasn't producing great music in the last 20 years. So him dying is a big shock and a big loss. So we can only go back and remember the great music that he left us, and this is one of the best albums that he did leave us. Thank you for watching. See you next time.